Oh my God, how are you doing? Gifted parents, I'm so excited to be with you. I wanted to do this quick piece on emotional dysregulation just because with the events of the world, anxiety is ramping up, and so are emotional dysregulation. So if in your family or in your home you're experiencing any sort of like meltdown, tantrums, and it could be like anywhere in the spectrum, it could be just feeling moody and not collaborating and just being negative and nagging, to full-blown meltdowns and tantrums and door slamming when you ask something very simple, or like disconnect, just like the vibe is different, right? So the reason why I want to talk about that is that what I see and I get asked a lot is that traditional discipline is just like that hammer, right, on your emotion is just not working, right? Let's just say it, right? Everything we've been told to do in parenting books, in articles, schools, any sort of social setting is not working. And the reason is because you take it backwards. That's backwards. You look at the behavior and you state it's unacceptable, which in many cases it is. And then you don't worry about root causes. You don't worry about what caused the behavior. And that's what the problem is, because you invest so much time taming that behavior and never getting to the root cause. And that's why it goes on and on and on. Everybody's frustrated and you never get anywhere. Meanwhile, you invested a lot of your time, energy, disconnecting with your child, that civil war situation in your house for nothing. So why is it backwards? Because there's a root cause to the behavior, right? And basically, if you fix the cause, you fix the behavior. And nobody's talking about that, right? I mean, a few people, but for the rest, traditional discipline is not even considering. It's stopping at the behavior is unacceptable and you need to fix it. I don't know how, I don't care, but and that's not how we want to approach things, because if you don't get any results, you're doing something, that you could be doing differently. So I want to talk about that because there's a physiology of stress that causes the meltdown. It's not that your child one day wakes up wanting to make your life miserable. It's because something in their brain is happening. And neurosciences have made like strides in progress. We know so much more now than people knew when we were growing up. So we're lucky in a way, but we're still not adapting this to our parenting, which is crazy, right? Years and years of studies in neurosciences to let you know that, you have a part of your child's brain, that the prefrontal cortex just behind your forefront, that's responsible for executive functioning. So anything from planning to understanding consequences, if I do A, B happens, like understanding reward and punishment, planning, collaborating, all those things is not ready up until 7 and up, and it will probably not be ready until 21, which is crazy. Yet we expect our kids to sit all day and not do anything and just comply, right? Comply. Meanwhile, their brain is not ready. And so you're basically fighting against their own nature. You're fighting against their own nature because the command center is not ready. And so how do we enhance executive functioning? So you may have seen me posting a lot of those things, you enhance it with sleep, nutrition, coaching, like presence, love, and conditional love is shown. The securely attached child has a better executive functioning. So that's another video if you want to check my YouTube. But all those things you can put together in place so that you enhance your child's executive functioning, so that the day you need them to get back into command and control, they can. So I'm basing this on this book. You guys, if you've read it, read it again. I read it every year. If you've read this book, read it again. It's by my beloved Daniel Seigel, Dr. Dan, as we call it, as my child calls him too, actually. And this is in really telling you that the brain is made of different functions. There's different areas of your brain. So basically you have a tiny piece, it's called the amygdala, and that's basically its job. It's to find danger, right? So it's your 2,000-year-old brain that is geared and to serve and protect and find the saber-toothed tiger in the bush. These days, we don't have any tigers in the bush. And so what do we make matters of life and death? What do we make right now in 2020 matters of life and death? What we do is like external validation, your job, your stress, everything becomes a matter of life and death. And so you live in this constant stress. And what we don't understand is that our child also is stressed. What we are feeling right now, they're feeling times two, actually exponentially, because mirror neurons, right? The way they see you, they feel what you feel because of mirror neurons. Those are neurons here that make you have empathy with the person you see in front of you. So if they're sad, you feel sadness. If they're happy, you feel happy. So no pressure, but we have so much impact on our child's life. So the 2,000-year-old brain is geared to protect you. So it's scanning the environment to try to find something that's a danger to you, and like, oh my God, it's your survival, right? It's your survival. So that brain, we have the prefrontal cortex that's able to just control it, right? And so I'm using the whole brain child method of looking at the brain, right? So here you have your 2,000-year-old brain, your reptilian brain, and here you have your prefrontal cortex. When it's down, it controls your fears, your anxiety, your stress, and it helps you regulate your emotions. When it's completely up, which Dr. Dan calls it flipping your lid. So your lid is up, and that's something I tell my son. You've had insomnia. I haven't slept well in the last three days. My lid is about to flip, and he knows things are about to break loose. But anyway, when your lid is flipped up, you're not able to control your emotions, plan, understand. You're not able to think. You're out. You don't think. And that's exactly what happens when they're emotionally out, right? This is because the prefrontal cortex is up. They're not able. So this is why a good parenting advice is not to try to reason with them when they're like out, right? So, and neurosciences show that you have a variety of ways you can regulate and help executive functioning during this time. So you can have a sip of water, you could do breath work, because breath work is helping your nervous system. Breath work is helping your nervous system go from the sympathetic state, which is fight, flight, or freeze, the amygdala going, It's annoying, right? That's exactly what it does constantly. To rest and digest, the para-sympathetic state, rest and digest. Oh, I'm out of danger. There's no tiger in the bush. I'm fine. I can breathe. So breath work is the best way. There's a lot of new stuff out there in the web. You can find like square breathing. We have like a couple of exercises in our module in our Championing Gifted Child course. But it's very, very simple. You don't need to be a yogi in the Himalaya to do that. Square breathing, you breathe, you hold, you breathe, and you exhale. You do this exercise, you calm your nervous system down. That's what the Navy SEALs do. This is the exercise the Navy SEALs do to calm them down and face with the incredible dangers they face. So the good thing is there's a lot of things out there that you can figure out and put in your toolbox, because again, it depends on what works for you. Breath work is a couple seconds and you're back in your command. The prefrontal cortex is back down. So there's meditation, and again, there's a lot of meditation out there for kids out there on YouTube, and you can figure out there's guided meditation, there's just recentering on the breath, which is the best meditation. You could do this. It's very simple to do, and you'll see results like crazy. Physiology moves. So if you see your child really scrunched and really like tense, you can help them just, shoulders back, relax, breathing, awareness of, get them to be aware of, I'm feeling this way. Where is it in your body? Where you feel anxious? Where is it in your body? Is it in your chest? Is it anger is like this tightness in the back of your head, usually, or like you become all red here and hot. Your brain becomes so hot because you're so angry, right? So getting them the understanding and how this happens in their body. And the reason is because the body and the brain, they're together. They're together. You change your body, you change your mind. And that's why yoga poses are so powerful, right? The warrior pose keeps you in command, brings you back in the front seat, right? And then the inner child pose is really like relaxing. So it doesn't need to be super sophisticated, guru-like, just fun, having fun moving, you just push the coffee table, and then you put something on YouTube, or if you look it up yourself, you could play around. They love to play. Make it like a play, like now we're gonna do you're gonna do this pause, and you play a little bit with it. The warrior pause is funny, when they feel uncomfortable. For growth mindset is amazing. You do this for 90 seconds, not 90 minutes, but you do this for 90 seconds and you feel different. I bet you. So this is the other thing about emotions I want to talk about, is that emotions traditionally are seen as negative. Negative emotions are like frowned upon. We don't accept them. We don't want them, right? The problem is, an emotion is a message. An emotion, even negative, is a message. And actually, negative emotions, they're better messages about you, your values. Something is off. It's your subconscious telling you something is off here. This situation, the way I was treated, is off. I'm not aligned with that. I have a problem with that. And it's a visceral problem that you cannot always fix with like a green chip and a red chip with the behavioral management system that they want to force on us. Yes, it could help, but you need to deep dive into the root cause. If you want to fix the problem, you fix the cause. So emotions, they're messages, right? So something is wrong. What am I feeling? This is the critical question, right? Because what we think is, oh my God, how can I contain the situation here? How can I keep this child quiet, right? Because either you're being embarrassed, or we think, because we're so ingrained that we did a bad job as a mom if the child is having a negative emotion. Come on, 2020, guys. Neurosciences are out there and showing that emotions are super important, even negative emotions. But actually, way before neurosciences, and if you follow me, you know that I'm absolutely obsessed with Carl Jung, this psychologist that talked about your shadow, right? Your shadow. We always want to see the positive and the beautiful. We want to be this Instagram mom that has it together. The child is doing everything right? But we never think about our shadow, right? What's wrong? Like, what opportunities do we have, right? In our personality, in our life. We never look at the shadow. We always look at the light, and we all, beep, bada, boom, right? But we never talk about what's wrong with us that we could fix, that could help our life be at the next level. We never talk about that. But shadow work is so critical, because if you allow the space and time, the sacred space for your child to understand they are safe, to understand their feelings, just very simple question. What am I feeling? Okay. Is it anger? Is it frustration? And there's so many things out there you can download and have them copy and color so they understand the difference, right? That's social emotional learning. Because frustration is not the same as sadness, it's not the same as anger, it's not the same as, right? Those are different things, but now we tend to think everything's negative. Oh my God, shame on me, oh my God, shame on me, right? I'm negative, how dare I be negative, right? But the reality is, what am I thinking is a very critical question. It's a super critical question, right? Is it anger? Okay, what does this anger tell me? What does this anger tell me? Something is off. I'm misaligned. Something is wrong. What is wrong? So as long as we go there, we have the courage. Sometimes we won't receive any answers from our subconscious because we never listen to it. And teaching a child to do this is so difficult because they're formatted to see negative emotions negatively. And a negative emotion is a positive message. A negative emotion is a positive message. Now, it's what you do with it that's acceptable or not, right? So if you start slamming doors and endangering people and breaking things, that's not acceptable. It's what you do with it that's bad. It's not how you feel, because feeling anger is actually a motive for breakthroughs in your life. For you to say no, and no, enough is enough is enough. I'm not taking this another day, another minute of my life. So it's a very critical emotion to preserving them. The problem is how they deal with it, right? But first, they need to know what triggered the anger, right? And that's the true anger management. That's when you do the work. Because what am I feeling? Okay, anger. What does this anger tell me about me? It's a message from me to me, right? So I have to listen. Let me lean in. Okay, anger. Honestly, something was unfair. Something is demanding repair right now. The way I was treated, the way I understood the situation, and it could be something that maybe they misinterpreted, right? We miscommunicate all the time. It's fine. But something they made it mean about life that is really infuriating them. It's infuriating them, and something needs repair. That's why they're throwing things. Not because you're a bad mom or a bad dad or whatever people put in your head. It's not. Or you're a bad parent, you don't have discipline or this and that. No, it's because something's happening in them that they don't know how to communicate. And the real problem, honestly, is that they learn time after time after time to bypass their own intuition. Something is screaming in them that something's wrong, right? And they learn little by little because we tame them that it's wrong to feel this and it's wrong to set up high standards. And so, hey love, how you doing? Good to see you here. What time is it in Singapore? Hi. Okay, so we're talking about emotions and how a negative emotion is a positive message. Something is bothering them, and if you find what it is, you fix that problem forever, right? As long as you work on the issue, right? Because if you solve the cause, you solve the problem, the behavior, which is what you want to do ultimately, right? You don't want to have the same problem happening over and over and over. And you give them a blue chip or a green chip or a yellow chip, whatever, and then it's never fixed, right? So emotions tell us we're misaligned. Something's wrong. We're not accepting that. We're not aligned with that. And we need to listen. And we need to teach our child to listen. So the last thing I want to talk about is the Rosenberg Reset. So the Rosenberg Reset is, titled after the person who thought about it, Rosenberg, Dr. Rosenberg, who, so she put together a few stories, a few studies about how 90 seconds of you sitting with your emotions helps you actually get through it, right? Instead of taming them, makes your fury even worse. So her offering is, let's deal with our emotions as they come. Let's deal with it. And it's like you controlling the faucet, the water coming out of the faucet to prevent, water flooding in your house. You control that stream of water out of your faucet, right? And so it's about sitting with your emotions. So you're going to sit. And the problem is we want to flee that emotion because it's uncomfortable, right? If it's anger, you have that heat in your head. And if it's sadness, it's this weight here, right? And so on and so forth. So we want to avoid the biological, the physiological consequences of feeling that emotion because we're very scared of losing control, and it's the uncertainty of, oh my God, what's happening to my body, right? But if we sit with it, what was found was your reaction to your emotions actually less if you just can sit with it for 90 seconds. So this applies first to us as parents because we have to model it, right? The only way we can teach that is to model it. The only way I know how is to model it. And I'm actually, somebody who's very impulsive and can be angry easy. So it's been a roller coaster for me to learn how to team, to understand and sit with my anger. But my anger has taught me so much of things that would misalign my life, that, brought me so many breakthroughs. I just need to work on how to manifest it so that I don't hurt people, basically. But the anger itself is super positive. It's a positive message. A negative emotion is a positive message because it's going to tell you something about you that you're trying to bury, that you don't want to face. And if you dare to go there, it's going to change so much your life. So the way we teach it, the way we can teach that, so we have a mini version of that in our course, okay? We teach the 90-minute reset, the 90-second reset. The course, the module is 90 minutes, so I'm thinking 90 minutes. But this exercise is 90 seconds of you resetting. And I'd like to take you through that if you have 90 seconds. Do you have 90 seconds to figure out if you like it or not? Because I'm always about trying things. And I tried it myself. I was like, interesting. This really worked. I really like that. So anyway, the 90 seconds sitting down with your emotions. So I'd like to take you through a quick exercise. It's a mini version of the reset exercise we have, right? So I want you to close your eyes. Okay, I know it's uncomfortable, but that's the jig of it. And if you do it, you'll see things appearing differently, right? So I want you to close your eyes and then imagine a situation where you were infuriated, where you were like so angry. And don't tell me you don't have any, because everybody has and feels anger, even though we're so quick to judge and blame our kids when they're angry, right? So I want you to turn inwards and look at yourself. Pick any situation. And lately we've had plenty, right? Situations where we were angry. Just close your eyes and imagine it, right? I would like to invite you to feel it in your body, that anger. Where do you have it in your body? Right? We'll give it 90 seconds. I would like for you to sit with it. Don't judge it, don't blame it, just watch it. Right? Watch it. Watch you getting so upset. Feel that thing again. And it's not easy. So if you're doing this, I commend you. Just sit with it. It's not going to hurt you. Making sense of what happens is everything. And I'm reliving something super crazy right now. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Just accept it, welcome it. Don't feel sorry for feeling that. You're entitled to your feelings. Just watch it come and go. Focus on your breath. Okay. Do you have a pen and paper? Do you have a pen and paper? I would like for you to write down the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay? Don't make it, Instagram worthy. Just write down the first thing that comes to this question. What really made you upset? Like deeply. What really deeply triggered the heck out of you? And it's not that somebody dropped something on the floor, right? Is it? It's not that somebody told you, like made a comment with an attitude, because we have attitudes all day, every day. Why was this infuriating you? So jot it down. Don't edit it. Just write down anything that comes to you, right? I'm doing this too. So the other question is, so the first one is, what was the deep root cause for this fury, for this anger? And the second one is, and don't think, just write or think about it and then write it down. How could this be repaired? How could this be repaired? And you'll have great insight of what exactly was the pain point, what exactly triggered you. How could this be repaired? Now, stay with this feeling, and I want to ask you one last question. Do you understand now? Imagine you're a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old, and you feel vulnerable already. So take this feeling, maybe this applies to another situation when you're an adult and it's fine, but take this hopelessness, like, feeling helpless, feeling vulnerable, feeling infuriated. I deserve better than that. What happened? I'm so mad at what this person did. And when you keep that feeling with you, can you imagine if somebody would just walk up to you and say, hey, if you tame that feeling right now, I'll give you a green chip that you can put on your behavior chart. But if you don't, right this second, when I tell you and how I tell you, you get a red chip on your behavior chart. How is this helping you? You still feel you're hurt. You still feel endangered. You still feel vulnerable. You still feel like you were hurt, like you were insulted, you were offended. How is the green chip really helping you feel? It's external validation, I'll give you that. Because green, we're conditioned to see it as good and red is bad. Okay, so we're externally validating, but how is it fixing your problem? It's not, right? And that's what we get wrong. And so I'm inviting you to that idea that we need to fix the root cause. And yes, we need to have a conversation on how to manifest this, because some things are acceptable. The way you manifest your anger needs to be acceptable. And we need to be very clear. This is okay, this is not. This is okay, this is not. And enforce it. I agree. I'm not saying we shouldn't discipline. I'm saying you're looking at it from the wrong vantage point. You're missing the elephant in the room if you just look at the tip of the iceberg. So I'm inviting you, if you're interested in this topic, to download my free report that I have. I'll put the link below. And this tells you the tip of the iceberg and all the reasons that you could have for a meltdown. It could be physiological, emotional, stress, anxiety, a lot of things. Nutrition, sleep, and exercise. I'm sorry to tell you, but this is so easy to be missed. It's simple, but it's not easy. But it's easy to miss it. So download the resource and you'll see. It gives you a little pattern in your brain. It shows you the prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, stress response, how it happens. What's the neurotransmitter flooding flooding your brain and your body when you get into stress. And when you get into chronic stress, even worse. Responsible for so many chronic diseases, chronic stress. The reality, there's no tiger in the bush. And we do this to ourselves because we're stressed so much and we make matters of life and death of things that are not. And that's the truth. So emotional dysregulation, what I wanted to talk about today is, one, there's a physiological pattern in the stress response, right? And you'll see that in the report that I have for you. Two, emotions, negative emotions are positive messages. If we lean in. And guess what? When you lean in and you find what the problem is, you don't have this problem anymore if you can fix it. And if you can't, then at least you are aware that you're in a situation right now you cannot fix, but at least you are aware of what state of mind you're in, and then you can help change it because you're aware of yourself, right? Instead of blaming and shaming, oh, you're not behaving right, and this and that. And it's not our fault. That's the way we were raised, and we're just repeating without thinking how we were raised. But yes, positive parenting is not giving away your shot at discipline. It's not, because if you don't give structure to your gifted child, good luck. Like, they're gonna run you over. They're gonna be limitless in the wrong way. But if you don't do the root causing, and you come to them with the green chip, hey, it's green today because you managed to shove your emotions down your throat. Good job. And then when they grow up, they'll never get angry. They'll never say, I want to set the right standard for my life. I'm gonna, today, right now is my breakthrough. I'm not gonna take this anymore. This is a skill. You need to preserve this in your child, because your gifted child is not just your average Joe. They're born for a lot in this life, right? And so you need to preserve that emotional intelligence, which starts with self-awareness, right? What am I feeling? Why am I feeling this? Why is this triggering me? How can this be repaired? All those questions. We take you through that in our course, huh? Don't worry about it, because you cannot make it up, right? This is like personal development applied to parenting. And that's what I do. But I just want to plant the seed that you're looking at the tip of the iceberg, and if you download the free resource, you'll see the iceberg and everything that could be underneath. So I want to tell you that you feel like a bad mom, you feel like a bad parent, that you don't have it together, that you don't have discipline, and in the meantime, it's not your fault either, because you're not seeing what's underneath the waters. And the minute you do, you have a shot. And not a minute until you do, you will have a shot, right? That's the problem. Nothing's gonna change up until we look underneath the waters, and this takes courage. But anyway, the way you teach it is the way you model it. And I will say, to be vulnerable right now, because I know this is a safe container, I am a work in progress with emotional dysregulation. I'm a work in progress, but I'm aware that I'm flipping my lid. I'm communicating that I'm flipping my lid, and everybody knows in this house that I need to breathe. I need to do square breathing when I'm getting to my end of my rope. And I'm so much more efficient just being vulnerable and understanding. And when I see my son getting to that point, you know, I have tools in my toolbox, right? Because I've been building this toolbox for years now. So I see it coming. Oh my God. But what I don't see coming is the why. And sometimes it's obscure to them too. So we need to sit in them. It's not like, tell me why, and then they'll tell you. No, we need to, it's a practice. You know, building that muscle, that social emotional muscle. But we can't build it if we are just, can we imagine? And that's my last thing. You having this big pain here, your hand is wide open, right? You really cut your hand really bad and you're bleeding all over the place. You're bleeding and it hurts you so much, and you come to your mom, and then the only thing they do, or your dad or your parent, right? Let's say the only thing they do is stop doing this. Stop showing me that you're hurting. Stop. How is it helping you? How is this building connection? It's not. So the moment you wake up and you want to coach, and I'm listening to you because you didn't build the connection, you didn't build the trust, the safe emotional space. And that happened to me for so many years. I could speak to it like for hours, because was me 5 years ago. And then when people asking me, well, he just needs to be heard. I was thinking this for poor parenting. You know, what do you mean? He's 3. I know better what he needs. I don't need to consult with him. I don't need to collaborate with him. I know better. It's going to be what I'm going to say. It is going to be. And it took me to like stranded rivers. And let me tell you, this is not working. It's not. And I want to save you that time. If you look at the root cause, maybe you won't find the first shot. Maybe you'll find it later. Maybe it's going to be a lifelong discovery, self-introspection. But boy, is it worth it. And it's a discovery for us as parents too. To see me doing the exact same thing you do. Yep. The truth. Anyway, put in your comments below. Let me know what you thought about the reset exercise, and I'll put some notes below for you to look at resources. And let me wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for joining. Talk to you later.